す。なぜ休ませてあげないのです。我らが主の安眠を妨害するなど従者としてありえん。
ごめん、余計に疲れたよね。いえ。
All right, my friends, 𝐒𝐶𝐼MICHI, episode number 13. Here we are. This is basically the start of what would, I guess, be considered like the second core or the second half of season 2 as we head into a total of 25 episodes this season. And I have to tell you out the gate, one of my favorite things in anime, one of my favorite tropes in anime, and Japan likes to call out pretty frequently, and anime being one of the biggest media forms of that country, you know, they put out to the world, one of the biggest forms of media in the world, is one of my favorite tropes is when they call out the church. And in this episode, right, you know, the church is dedicated to the goddess, and we know everything that's going on between Makoto and the goddess, and how the goddess sect, or whatever you call it, is corrupt, and they were doing human experimentation, and they're just awful human beings. And the goddess is a whole nother level of just ridiculousness, and we know everything that's going on there. But one of my favorite things that anime tends to do is call out the church and typically, you know, corruption. And I don't think there's any hiding. If you look at world history, I think if you probably took any kind of like world history class in like college, maybe even high school, you know that the church, and I'm just gonna put like a very generic brand on it because there's tons of different religions, tons of different beliefs. There's tons of different, you know, when you say church, it could mean, you know, a plethora of different religions throughout the world. But in most part, kind of like cops, right? Like how you view cops is for every corrupt cop, or, you know, for every decent cop, or for every, you know, black and white, good standing cop, there's 5 corrupt ones. And church is kind of the same thing. It's a very similar thing to where it's meant to be this very spiritual housing, and it has a specific form. And I won't get into religion too much, but essentially it's kind of like for every one good standing church that's doing well by its community and like really helping and everything else, you have 5 other churches where, you know, the pastor, the minister, the head leader, the main church sect person drives a Ferrari and has a private plane, and, you know, everything that goes on with that. Tons of corruption there. And I like how Japan, you know, because of their religious beliefs, they always tend to call out the church in some way, shape, or form, you know, again, through their media and through their writings. Because again, like I said, you take world history, there's no hiding the fact that there's been a ton of corruption. So I just like how Japan always has like a go-to, and they always like, just like the military stuff, like they always call this stuff out. This episode had a lot of that, right? Like Makoto is summoned to the church, and although he has his qualms with the goddess and everything else, he's like, okay, well, Makoto the businessman can't be in opposition to the church. I need to be smart about this. They want my formulas, they want to know how I'm doing my potions and stuff. Okay, we'll teach them. And at first I was like, dude, why would you do that? And I was like, I guess, you know, you could always create something else. But the real reason behind it, and the real reason he was able to do that and not really stress about it or worry about it, is because Shiki's formulas, or in the way that they do the potions, are so complex, and they need so many moving parts that later on in the episode, because the head church lady with the red hair, I don't know who she is, but that, you know, the head lady kind of calls him out like, blah, blah, blah. But basically the church gives us a rundown of like his methods are so complex, they need so many hands and need so many specific materials that it would cost them, you know, triple, double, quadruple, you know, manpower wise, like money wise, and then they would have to charge, you know, 10 times the amount that Makoto's charging in his place just to make some kind of profit at all. So I don't know for sure, because, you know, Makoto never confirms it, Shiki never confirms it, but it seems to me that he kind of knew going into it that there's no way, even if you knew how to do, even if you had the Krabby Patty formula, you don't have the means. So you can know how to do it. That's fantastic. You can even put it out there in the world how to do it, but you can't replicate my margins and manpower and the way that I'm able to get this product out for the price I'm able to get it out. They just can't replicate it. So I love that about, you know, about the church stuff. I also love that the red hair lady doesn't really seem like she's like, you know, holier than thou. she was like, actually, for whatever we're trying to do, which I don't know what this specific church and entity is trying to do, but she's like, whatever we're trying to do, we need a trump card. And this dude, although I think he's sleazy and he blocked us out and he's powerful and he's a liar, I think he could be our trump card. So she realizes that they weren't able to read his brain or his intentions. They weren't able to use magic on him. He blocked everything out. And they understand that he's a lot more powerful than just being some rando merchant. So she's like, we need, he could be our trump card. So I love that Church, Makoto, and what he's got himself into. He's also been tailed a lot too. And then at the end of the episode, I kind of got lost at the end of the episode. I guess there's another country involved as well that is not necessarily following him, but kind of like seeing what's going on with the festival and everything. Not really sure what's going on with that there, but again, another political intrigue plot line potentially that I think is really cool. On top of the church stuff, there was also the festival going on. We had some Mio and Tomoe fan service here. We got them drinking, got them having a good time, got them slobbering all over Makoto as he was sleeping. So a lot of good fan servicey stuff this episode too, but I really, really was intrigued and interested in this church plot line and what it's going to bring going forward. I'm like, okay, it's got me back. And that's all I want from this anime, is to be entertained and for it to do storytelling well. And of course, there was funny moments like the banana milk and, not teasing, but like, what do you call it? Bribing, bribing the girls at the shop with the banana milk and the banana stuff. I thought that was really, really funny. Like that, there were some like legit funny scenes. When Tomoe is messing around with the girl who works at, with the girl who works at the bar and everything. I thought that was fun. I thought that was really funny. And I thought that was really entertaining as well, too. And just a lot of, additional funny moments that occurred, this episode. Makoto presenting himself as mute, I thought was really funny. The beginning of the episode with the guild leader coming in and just consistently hitting on Makoto. And I'm just like, obviously it would be a bigger sell if he would, transform himself into a woman, but he's still pushing that envelope quite a bit. So a lot of entertaining stuff happened this episode. So very pleased with the new start of the Cour, and that starts and ends for me with this church plotline. I love what this is going to do for the show, and I hope we continue to explore that and not get away from this new path they set us on. So that's where I'm at so far with Tsukimichi. Let me know where you guys are at. I appreciate you guys being here for another week, episode number 13. We'll see what it ends up coming. This is one on the chopping block potentially for, other anime coming in. But let's see what we have. So I'll see you guys next week. Maybe. If not, check out my community post. But see you then. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Peace out, my friends.